Good morning, friends. Several times in the Apostle Paul's writing, he refers to Christians as those who have been adopted as the children of God. In Ephesians chapter 1, in fact, he tells us that God chose us to be adopted as the sons of God. I've been thinking a little bit about adoption from an incident that happened in my own family. My oldest niece had been married for 10 years. Her and her husband, Earl, had not been able to have children, despite every effort that they had made medically to see if they could have children. They had not been successful. And so finally they decided to apply with an adoption agency, and a wonderful little boy came into their life named Troy. A few months afterward, I think it was about maybe 8 or 9 months after Troy came into their life, the adoption agency called Sandy one day and said to her, "I know you have not applied to adopt another child, but we have a birth mother who is going to have a little girl, and the profile of parents that she's given us fits you exactly, and we have no one else in our data bank that has the kind of profile that she wants except you. Would you consider adopting a little girl?" And so Sandy and her husband Earl said, well, give us a day or two, let us think about it, pray about it, and we'll get back to you. So a short time later, they called back and said, we would love to welcome a little girl also into our home. And so Sharla came into their life. Well, about 3 months after Sharla arrived in their home, Sandy wasn't feeling well. She thought she had the flu. And finally one day she decided to get to the doctor and see what was happening, why she couldn't shake this flu. Well, you guessed it, it wasn't the flu, it was morning sickness, and Rochelle was on her way. Rochelle was born prematurely at the age of 6 months. I remember visiting her in the preemie ward at Long Beach Hospital, and she was just fighting for life. This year she is a feisty starting guard in her high school basketball team and has won all-conference most valuable player. About 10 years into this whole family of Troy and Rochelle and Sharla, the two sisters, Troy and Rochelle and Sharla, got in an argument one day, and Rochelle, the natural-born child, was losing the argument, so she decided she would get even with Sharla, and she said, well, I'll have you know around here, you're the adopted child, and I'm the natural-born child. Her mother, Sandy, came tearing into the room and said very convincingly to Rochelle, she said, Rochelle, I'll have you know that with Sharla I had a choice, but with you I didn't. Well, I think that's how God looks at us. With us he had a choice, and of course we have the choice back in reciprocity. To as many as received him, to them he gave power to become the children of God. Are you God's child today? He desires you to be in his family, and it's a choice now that we have to make once he has made his choice. It's a wonderful life when you know the Lord. May this day be a wonderful one in your life.